Welcome back to Maggiora in northwestern Italy for the conclusion of MXGP of Italy, round 10 of the Motocross World Championship Series. Looking at my commentary position right now, the red, white and green flares are well and truly burning across the hillside here because the Italian fans have come here to see one man and one man only stand on the top step of this Italian podium here at Maggiora, the most iconic circuit in the world of motocross, with the seven-time world champion Tony Cairoli, the favourite to do the business here on home soil. He was victorious in Moto number 1, the first time he's ever won a Moto around here, because he was way too young to have raced here back in '99, the last time he came here. And he didn't take a victory win in 2013 last year either, and he certainly didn't win the overall Grand Prix. So another race win and an overall victory would be just what these guys on the hillside would have wanted. They've braved the conditions this weekend, the rain today, the heat of Friday. And there will be a riot if he doesn't stand on the top step of the podium today. If he does, the podium will be the noisiest and the most atmospheric of 2014. Of that, you can bet all your money. Right, it's just coming towards the end of their sighting lap now. Still a bit cloudy. The rain has disappeared, but they haven't. The crowd are just sitting quiet, patiently, waiting for these guys to come in off their sighting lap. Live images you're seeing now, of course. We've been live all weekend long at 2MX2. We've had the MXGP Race 1, and we're about to see MXGP Race 2. And if you didn't see it earlier on, here's the highlights from MXGP Race 1. The gate dropped, Tony Cairoli rocketed out of the start at the inside. Grabbed the foxhole shot, pushed DeSalle wide on the Suzuki. Van Hoorbeek was there in third on the Yamaha. DeSalle then made a bobble, lost a couple of positions, handing the advantage right back to Cairoli on the KTM. Van Hoorbeek was second at that stage. DeSalle was third, but not for much longer, because on lap 9 he carved his way down the inside of fellow countryman Jeremy Van Hoorbeek and got himself back into second position. The end of lap 1, sorry. David Philippart's made a great start. He started in 7th place on his DP Yamaha, riding in the Italian flag colours. Cairoli was starting to stretch out his lead on his Red Bull KTM with DeSalle second, but just like we saw in France 2 weekends ago, the tough Belgian was backwards and forwards, closing that gap all the time to Cairoli. At one point getting to within about a second or so of the Italian, who was looking over his shoulder, nervous at the prospect that DeSalle would strike again, just like he did at Saint-Jean-d'Angély. Van Hoorbeek was in third, Frossard was in fourth, Bobryshev was fifth, Strybos was in sixth. Searle got himself into 7th at this stage of the race, with Philippart's in 8th, where he would, well, the Italian would eventually finish in 9th place. The retro TM of the number 3, Tano Leok, eventually came home in 14th position as Bobryshev charged at the inside of Searle to take 5th. Around about the midpoint of the race, Searle on the 100 Kawasaki, just losing a position in that little exchange. You're wondering where DeSalle went? Well, at the midway point of the race, he took an off-track excursion over on this side of the circuit, and that handed second to the Kawasaki of Stephen Frossard there, number 183, who was also closing in on the championship leader, Tony Cairoli. The crowd vociferous, urging their hero on, because they sensed, maybe like 12 months ago, same bike, same team, different rider, Frossard closing in, maybe looking to steal the victory from Cairoli. Last year, of course, it was Gauthier Paulin. But Van Hoorbeek had other ideas, and he started to close in. He put the fastest lap in of the race on the final lap, and he burst past Stephen Frossard on his Yamaha factory machine, pushing the Frenchman back into 3rd place as Strybos settled for 4th, Bobryshev 5th, and Searle 6th. DeSalle remounted to 7th. But this was a battle that everyone went to see in the final stages. The Yamaha of Van Hoorbeek, the white machine this weekend. He closed in, the Frenchman left the door open, Van Hoorbeek stormed on through, and that was a lap and a half to go. So Van Hoorbeek got himself in the second. Couldn't quite do anything about this guy here, Antonio Cairoli, who played to the crowd on the final lap. They lit the flares and Cairoli lit the candles as he crossed the Monster Energy finish line to win in race 1. Cairoli was a winner in race 1. Van Hoorbeek second, Frossard third, Strybos and Bobachev. Here's Amy Dargan.
Race of the day, we're down on the start line ahead of MXGP race 2. We're going to have a word with Davide Guarnieri, who's sitting on the gate. I don't think you're meant to be doing that. Don't break the gate. I'm appreciating the retro colours this weekend. Is this especially for Majora?
Yes, of course, especially for Maggiora. We had the idea to make the Gastone Serafini replica, our boss in TM, and the year was 1979. It's quite cool. The bike is look retro and everything, helmet and gear, like you said. And I started a bit last year to do something retro for this race, and I like to bring some old passion here in Majora again.
Well, it looks absolutely great. And talk to me about race 1.
Race 1 was not so bad. Start was not great, like 15, but I ride quite well the first 5-6 laps. I get 10th, and I was trying to get the 9th in the day. It was not so far, but I do some mistakes, and it was impossible for me to catch them. But in the end, it was good. Top 10 is our goal. For sure, depend also on the start, and I will try again this heat to finish in a good position.
Thanks, Davide. Best of luck and enjoy the rest of your home Grand Prix. We're going to head down to the bottom of the start line. It's very muddy down here, and we're going to have a word with Valentin Tellier. We saw him in a couple of Grand Prix so far this year, but he's actually, where has he gone? He's down here. He's actually on in place of Gautier Paulin with the Kawasaki racing team this weekend. Valentin, nice opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really nice opportunity, and I'm happy to be on this bike. I'm feeling good. Only yesterday I got a big crash and hit my ribs. So I'm trying to do my best, and I will try to get a good start, and then I will. I think I can be top 10, so I will do my best to be top 10 at the end of the second moto.
Last time we spoke to you, the plan was to head over to the States. Is that the States? Is the plan on hold for now?
I don't know what is my plan for the following weeks or even for the following years, but for the moment I just do some GPs. After that I will do some Supercross in France, and I will see.
Thanks, Valentin. Best of luck in this race. All right, before we see MXGP race 2, we're going to have a look at the starting list.
A very noisy crowd out there as we look at how the riders will line up. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek starts on pole for the first time, just like he did in moto number 1. Cairoli, wow, that was fast. Cairoli will start second, Frossard third, Bobachev fourth. Strybos goes to line fifth ahead of his teammate DeSalle, Tommy Searle, Ken Dyker with his best qualifying of the year so far. Sean Simpson ninth and David Philipparts 10th. Guarnieri will go to the line 11th, and then it will be Jake Nichols, Milko Potaszek, Gregory Aranda, Matis Caro, Tano Leo, Pierre Filippo Bertuzzo, Rigon Salves, Tyler Rattray, Dennis Ulrich, Cornel Nemeth, Matteo Bonini, Samuel Zaney, Stefano Dami, Philip Turrison, Clement Gercher, and Valentin Tellier, and Angelo Pellegrini. That's how the championship looks at the moment. Again, real short and sweet. See if I can shed a little bit more light on that for you. Tony Cairoli on 4.18, DeSalle on 3.87. Van Hoorbeek on 3.80, Strybos 2.94, and Frossard on 2.17. Van Hoorbeek, 89, will start up the inside on that Yamaha factory racing machine. White colours for this weekend. Ingo Parch, our race director, brings this race under starters' orders. Monster Energy 15-second board goes up. Van Hoorbeek, Cairoli, Frossard, Bobachev, all starting in the first 4 gates, getting ready to go down the start straight into turn 1, the left-hand turn. 5-second board, getting ready to go racing here. MXGP race 2. Cairoli once again, great out of the start and closes the door on Van Hoorbeek. Listen to the crowd, and he doubles his way into turn 2. The atmosphere absolutely electric here. DeSalle getting buried through the first couple of corners. Van Hoorbeek and the rest of the guys follow him down the hill. There was DeSalle. So DeSalle, what, in 7th or 8th? Cairoli, though, leads the way as he heads downhill through turn 7. Philipparts. No wonder there's noise out on the track as well. The local boy, quite literally, David Philipparts, DP19 Yamaha. He's in 2nd. The 2nd of the white bikes there, the Yamaha of Van Hoorbeek in 3rd. 4th is Mattis Caro, Wilvo Fork-Rank KTM, then Frossard on the Kawasaki, Strybos on the Suzuki, then Simpson on the KTM. I think Rui Gonçalves was in there as well. Not raining at the moment, but you can see how hard and slick it is in places. Tommy Searle there, I think, at the back of the pack. Number 100, picking himself up, just flying through the background there. So a disastrous start for Tommy Searle, it would have seemed. As Cairoli heads up to the opposite side of the valley on this first lap. Philipparts there in 2nd. An Italian 1-2. Where's Guarneri? Guarneri in 6th place at the moment. So the old boys, Philipparts and Guarneri, well placed in the early stages of this second moto. The atmosphere absolutely intense. Adam Wheatley, you're back with me. What a start for Cairoli. Just, you know, the atmosphere out here is just intense, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a start to order for the crowd, Paul. I mean, just went bananas in that one. 2 Italians in the top 2. And Guarneri not far away either. Just watch the flags there going up the hill. This is probably one of the more dense areas of the circuit for noise and appreciation, and, you know, it just puts hairs on the back of your neck because they're just so loud. Typically Italian motorsport fans, you could say. Yeah,
as a racer, you know, who so used to riding my home Grand Prix and having that same kind of reception, you know, they're the days that riders miss, you know, and, you know, this, it doesn't top this. For Tony Cairoli, you know, he can win almost anywhere in any kind of crowd, but you come here, the kind of support and reception that he gets here in Italy, especially around the circuit. It's interesting, isn't it? Some circuits kind of deliver more fans than others. Here, we've probably got a more generous crowd, probably because of the capacity than what we had in Trentino, but the back end getting loose on the Yamaha. Philipparts, who moves aside eventually and lets Van Hoorbeek through into 2nd position.
I'm not sure there was much of a letting going on there, Paul, but you got a factory bike versus, you know, Yamaha's last world champion, 2008, David Philipparts.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, that first season for him, riding the factory Yamaha, he won the title. Van Hoorbeek, you know, on the verge of 9 consecutive podiums. Let's watch Van Hoorbeek here, Paul, because I think he, you know, just speaking to him between the motos, he's really keen in this second race. He said this is where you're going to win the Grand Prix. He just needs to go with Cairoli.
Well, Cairoli was just over a second clear of... Cairoli was about a second clear of Philipparts at the end of the first lap. He comes over the line now, setting the fastest lap of the race, a 1:43.9. 3 seconds down is Van Hoorbeek with a 1:45.3. So massive gap gain there from Cairoli. Van Hoorbeek in 2nd, Philipparts 3rd, Frossard 4th, Caro, Strybos, Simpson, DeSalle, Guarneri 9th, Gonçalves 10th, Dijker 11th, Miranda 12th, Leop 13th, 14th Ulrich, Gertje 15th, Tellier 16th, Potazek, Bonini, Zaney and Searle are your top 20.
So what has happened to Bobryshev on that factory Honda?
Well, hearing Bobryshev has had a crash and has been medically assisted to.
Can pick him up somewhere? Is that bike? Or, wow, this
yeah,
track has he gone down? Is he get pretty stuck in the start? Sean Simpson.
And Rattray also nowhere to be seen. Came straight down pit lane as well. So no Rattray, Red Bull Ice One Racing, Husqvarna in this race either. But Mattis Caro, look at him here, 51. Wilvo, excuse me, Wilvo Fork-Rank KTM, number 91, holding off the challenge from the 22 of Kevin Stryber, Sean Simpson, 24. This is a battle for 5th place, Adam.
Tyler Rattray, concussion from the Grand Prix of France 2 weeks ago, Paul. Also had a crash yesterday morning, hit his head again. Said he threw up, so really just not feeling too good this weekend. I think Tyler just take an easy week and try and be back for Germany. Yeah, he was obviously, he rode a Dutch Championship last week, was all sort of systems go last week, wasn't it? But obviously that crash yesterday just ringing his bell again. Somebody gone down there, yellow flags. I can just see who's looking more concerned. There's the Philipparts pit crew, he's still going. 2nd position, where's Van Hoorbeek now? Yeah, he's there. Van Horbik in second.
Yeah, he's coming down towards the finish line now in pursuit of Kai Rowley. The gap was 3.1, it's now 2.3. Van Horbik in the ascendancy, sets his personal best lap of the race in the early stages here, and the fastest sector 1 as well, which is from the start to the bottom of the second hill, turn 7.
Hey, listen, he's got 8 consecutive podiums. If it's going to happen for Van Horbik, it's going to happen this weekend. Fastest in both sessions, pole position yesterday. You don't get better form than that coming into the motos, Paul.
No, and he also, you know, alluded to that, didn't he? He obviously weathered a lot of storm yesterday from Kai Rowley in that qualifying race, which was a pretty intense race anyway. Kai Rowley was left, right, all over the back of him. Didn't buckle, didn't, you know, crack under the pressure. And that is a good test coming into a race like this, because suddenly you go, right, I finally won a race. Even though it's a qualifier, I know I can win a race, whether it's a qualifier or a GP win, you know. So obviously it'd be interesting to see what he can do. He was very strong in the first race in the closing stages, wasn't he, to close down Frossard, set his fastest lap, the fastest lap of the race on the final lap as well. That's impressive form from Van Horbik.
Yeah. And another Belgian, we're looking at 25 on the factory Rockstar Suzuki, Clement de Salle, riding with a painful left wrist after the crash in the first moto.
Yeah, just through here, wasn't it?
Yeah, keep an eye on Sean Simpson below. Had some really good lines in the first race. Sean was making up a lot of time, just got stuck behind David Philipparts. One of those stories of a rider just, you know, quicker in some respects, but unable to overtake and move forward.
Well, the two Suzukis, the two Rockstar Energy Suzukis, just parked behind the number 91 of Matis Caro on the Wilbur Fort Rent machine.
Putting it nicely, politely.
What, they're parked behind him? Yeah, but, you know, we've seen it with Caro, haven't we? He makes good starts and just the odd mistake creeps in. And, you know, it's just a certain over-exuberance about him sometimes. You know, he knows he can run with these guys at the top and knows that he can probably get a result. Fastest lap of the race so far, 1:43.4. As Strybos goes through. Van Horbik still the fastest man on track. Not a lot in it, though, like 1/1000th of a second.
Yeah, you don't get much tighter than that.
So it's only 2.3 seconds now, that gap. Kai Rowley to Van Horbik. As Frossard going to work on Philipparts. This is for third place. So the
former teammates.
Yeah, the Kawasaki and Philipparts. Will he go wide? Parks him, but he swings it back down the inside, and Frossard going to try and go around the outside at the bottom of the hill. We've seen a couple of lines drop into one, but Philipparts making it pretty difficult for the Frenchman at the moment.
Yeah, it's very rough there. Tim Guys just said just a moment ago that, you know, there's line choice out there, but there's only really one fast one. That's why, you know, these guys are struggling to make up positions. Frossard is quicker than Philipparts, you know, by over a second. But and Strybos now found an inventive line on the finish line jump, Paul, and maybe he's seen a couple of things, you know, the other guys haven't so far.
Well, if anybody is going to, it's going to be him, isn't it? Because he's just got that kind of character about him. He's very technically gifted. Is Kevin Strybos there, number 22. Where's his teammate? It's de Salle.
Move. Strybos makes it happen. Well, I mean, you know, he was saying yesterday, if you have to overtake, then it's going to be in a way like that, you know, a little bit of bump and budge.
So Kevin Strybos then finds a way past Stephen Frossard on the Kawasaki, moves himself up into fourth. Next man in his sights, the white Yamaha, David Philipparts, who, got to be said, Adam, you know, 4 laps in. Okay, what do we expect from David Philipparts now? This is a glory moment for him, isn't it? Lives just up the road, really, 10, 15 minutes or something like that. This is very much his home Grand Prix in every sense of the word, on one of the most iconic circuits in the world. Italian Grand Prix for him. And there he is running in top 3. He'll be thriving on this. He'll be relishing it, won't he?
Yeah, just in the background, de Salle moving past Caro as well. But you're right, Paul. I mean, Philipparts kind of sees himself just outside the top 6 in that bracket between 6 and 10. So that's kind of what he's aiming for. He's slowly building up from 2 years of broken wrist injury. So, you know, he'll be just trying to live there as long as he can. Just feeding off the crowd. We saw it a little bit last year before he had that big crash at the same circuit. But, you know, he's a big day rider, is David Philipparts. He responds to the kind of expectation that's placed on him at events like these. I mean, don't forget he won his world title, you know, in the Grand Prix of Italy in 2008, the last round of the year. It couldn't be any more pressure.
Yeah.
Kai Rowley made a
good lap. 42.975 compared to the 44.1 of Van Horbik. 3.5 seconds clear now of the Belgium is Tony Kai Rowley on the Red Bull KTM here, the 222. So look how hard and slick it is as you come out of there. You go from nice traction to lighting up the rear wheel. Throttle control, absolutely imperative around here, Ad.
Yeah, no, you know, he made 2 mistakes, didn't he, in the closing phases of the Grand Prix of France 2 weeks ago. And, you know, we're going to be looking to see if they creep in again. From 7-time world champion, you wouldn't expect it. France was just a completely rare situation.
Of the start. Cairoli all the way over on the left-hand side. Just there alongside Van Hoorbeek, 89. Frossard getting muscled out early on as well. And Bob Reshef, excuse me.
That's 2 whole shots for Cairoli today. But, you know, we're just saying those mistakes in France, Paul, maybe a little bit strange for the world champion, and there's no reason why we should see them again here this weekend.
I think we refer to that as a blip or a glitch, don't we?
Yeah. I mean,
chink in the armour.
I mean, to finish 3rd overall, if that's a bad day for him in the championship, then it's not looking too good for the likes of Clement Desailly there. Just the 2nd yellow Suzuki in the back of the shot. Just cannot afford to lose championship points to the Sicilian, you know. 7 races to go after this.
Yeah, just when we thought he was, you know, bringing it back. What, 3 out of 4 race wins in the last, or 5 out of the 6 race wins, wasn't it? I think coming into here for Commander Sal. 2 wins in Spain, a win in England, 2 in France. 2 overall victories, and you know, gets the points down to 20. Has that incident in Moto number 1 where suddenly the points go out, and here he is, Cairoli leading again, and Desailly in 5th. So there's everything that he's worked hard for to pull back, just undone at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. Watch the British Championship leader here, Sean Simpson, just trying to pressurise Stephen Frossard. Got a little bit more momentum and rhythm going as Sean. Had a good lap on the last one, half a second quicker almost than Stephen Frossard.
And goes up the inside as well. Frossard just not looking interested.
He's off, he's cruising.
Holding his leg.
Got a problem, yeah.
So has something happened that we've not seen? And he's obviously, yeah, left.
Maybe it's from the Strybos hit.
Yeah, because he went in hard there, didn't he, in that left-hander?
I mean, he could have scooped his front wheel out, but he didn't, just pushed him out of the rut that he was going into. But you just have to wonder, maybe have a look at the front wheel as well. Maybe it's got a broken brake there, or some spokes or something.
Well, he can't pull the spokes card, can he? Because we've seen Cairoli ride with broken spokes in Valkenswaard with a buckled front wheel.
Yeah. But watch, he's going to come in the pits here, Paul. Just watch the team have a look at the front of the bike.
Body language suggests maybe, well, I hope not a leg injury, but he's crouched over the bike.
Is that
That's
Caro?
Jake.
No.
Caro.
Is that his wrist he's looking at?
So Frossard doesn't even give the team chance to look. Dargan was hoping to catch a word, but not a chance, not from Frossard. Team mechanics go looking after him for as well, running after him. But
it's not usual that Amy's blanked, is it?
So Cairoli leads, Van Hoorbeek 2nd, Strybos 3rd, Philippart's now 4th, Desailly 5th, Simpson having a great ride in 6th. He's 5 seconds off of Desailly. Guarneri is 7th, the Daika 8th, Aranda 9th on the Sturm. Racing Kawasaki is a wildcard here this weekend. Gonçalves bike it with the MRS 10th. Ulrich on the Saarholz KTM as 11th, with the TM of Leop 12th, and Tommy Searle now up into 13th, ahead of Gertje and Tellier. I wonder if we can see a replay of Strybos taking out Frossard early on. Whether there was contact or not, I'm not sure. Or whether it was just he got a scare and he had to go over the rut. And I don't know, it could have trailed a leg at that point and tweaked a knee or something. But had he have done it then, he would have known about it. So I don't think it's necessarily a leg injury, you know, where he's been hit per se. But maybe something just happened on that lap where it was just like an instant pain.
And Frossard, where is he in the championship? Because that's a pretty, you know, heavy points den. 6th place. He was only 8 points
wasn't
behind.
he, after Moto number 1?
Yeah, because he had overtaken Gauthier Paulin, who's absent. So yeah, losing ground to Kevin Strybos, who's currently 3rd.
And Simpson, who was only 9 points behind. So Simpson's going to take over 6th, maybe even 5th in the championship. As Desailly looking to find a way past number 19, David Philipparts.
Hey, these two have had some dust-ups over the years.
You reckon?
Yeah, just once or twice. But, you know, both a little bit older and wiser now. But
I wouldn't say wiser. These two are going to go at it. Oh, nicely scrubbed off the top of the hill there for Desailly.
It's not going to work for him. Philipparts going to hug that inside.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Innovative.
Yeah, but this is not the traction there if you're skipping across the ruts.
That's the thing, skipping across the ruts, and they don't move. Not around here. They look nice and soft at the moment, but as long as the rain stays off, they're just firming up every single lap. Has to regroup and go again, Commander Sal.
Well, maybe he's found the spot, you know, around the first section there. He's going to have to make something pretty aggressive to bump David Philipparts down to 5th. And Sean Simpson should be in the background. He was 5 seconds off. That's, you know, getting up ever so slightly. Sean can't afford to really ease off too much or he's going to lose this battle. I mean, David Philipparts potentially, if he's struggling towards the end of this moto and Simpson's got better lap times, he could break into the top 5. Be his best finish since a Grand Prix win in the last MX1 GP of last year.
Working hard though, isn't he, Philipparts?
And the Sal just...
if the checkered flag went out now and finished 4th, that would be as good as a win for him around here.
Yeah, and for a team, you know, brand new team, just trying to get by in the first season, it would be huge. The Sal going around the outside?
Yeah, he's pulled it as well. He's got the inside going into the next turn.
Oh, Philipparts just tucking it. Well, that's the Sal gone, in theory.
In theory.
Just ahead, Strybos, 3 seconds adrift. Team orders, perhaps? The Sal needs the championship points, Paul. 7 Grand Prix to go.
He does, but, you know, sometimes you make your own luck, don't you? And obviously, okay, what happened in Moto number 1 was an unfortunate incident. He would have crashed anyway, I think, the way that he took off the jump. I haven't seen a replay of it yet, but, you know, he landed off the side of the track and, you know, picked himself up, finishing in, what, 7th place, something like that. But he didn't make a great start here. I think you can only really ask for favours from your teammate if you're running, you know, consistently 2nd, 3rd, you know, and taking those kind of points. But he's having a chase strike, we'll see at the moment.
Yeah, but he's just won 3 of the last 4 motos. You know, he's pulled the gap back to like 20 points in Tony Cairoli. How many is he going to lose this weekend?
He's got to chalk this off as a bad day, because even if his teammate lets him by, that's 2 points. Okay, Cairoli's opened that gap up massively after the first race.
Yeah, but how many times have we said you can't afford a bad day with Tony Cairoli? Suzuki surely must be looking at this thinking, we've got to minimise this. The Sal's already riding with a hurt left wrist. You know, he said of that crash in the first moto, he just picked the ground between 2 good lines, slipped off course and, you know, paid for it.
It's back out to 31 points after, you know, the first race. It's the update now in terms of...
so he lost 11 already.
Yeah. So, obviously, the Zuki boys trying to urge him on. 40 points.
Just getting kicked out there. Getting really gnarly, that section down by the pit lane like it was yesterday.
40 points, that gap. 443, 403.
See, that's huge. That is a lot of ground to concede in one weekend.
He's doubled his advantage this weekend, Tony Cairoli. He came here 20 points clear. He's gained 20 points on the South. Should it stay like this?
But, I mean, somewhere like Lommel as well, where Cairoli's won so often in the past and has looked so invincible, that's got to be another given. You know, come at the South's not the fastest in the sand, so he's got to be prepared for losing points in that round, and he's running out of races.
First sector, Cairoli lights its purple, 40.844.
I mean, we're talking about the championship because we have this guy, you know, 7 times world champion, 5 times in a row in the Premier class.
Yeah.
His only real threat is that 25 Suzuki. We want to see him push, don't we? For the sake of the show, the entertainment, we want to see Tony Cairoli, you know, for once winning a championship perhaps in the last Grand Prix as opposed to 2 or 3 rounds before.
But it's just, like I say, you make your own luck, don't you? He's getting that bike out at the start. His reactions are super fast. The bike's obviously not slow, that 350 KTM that Cairoli rides. And once you get to the front, you can stay out of trouble. He's just one of those guys where, whether it's just because of the fact that he's won all these titles, and experience tells him that time and time again, because we talk about it, don't we? The last 5-10 minutes Cairoli time sometimes. He's happy to sit there 4th or 5th, as long as he can see the leaders 3 or 4 seconds clear. He's happy to sort of sit there at 95% of his rate, and then add the last 5 in the last 10 minutes and make it happen. And we see it, don't we? He pulls another 4, 5, 6 points back, maybe even a few more.
I mean, he's really produced the goods in this second moto. Jeremy Van Horbeke is no slouch around here, as we said, all weekend. He's now over 7 seconds away. This guy, Sean Simpson, yeah.
6th place. Great ride for him on the Hitachi KTM.
2 seconds faster than David Philipparts ahead, or is that past him? Who's that behind there? It's just,
Philipparts is ahead of him.
Yeah, so he's taken 2 seconds out of Philipparts. And that's Guarneri behind.
Yeah. Italian fans really have something to cheer about here, don't they? Cairoli leading. You've got Philipparts in 5th, who lives just up the road. Guarneri on that retro 1979 coloured TM. was interesting what he said in the press conference yesterday, wasn't it, David Guarneri, the big boss of TM. He rode this bike in 1979, a red TM. Guarneri had done the research and found that it was also the number of the big boss as well, 39. So why not go back to 1979 and pull out all the retro again? And this is his best race result of the year as well, Guarneri. In seventh place.
Yep. Tanner Leok, the other TM, down in 13th, been passed by Tommy Searle.
Yeah, who's now up into 12th. So Jake Nichols, obviously, didn't see he came out of the first race. You had any news on Jake?
No.
Because I'm not even sure he started the second race, no.
Saw him earlier on, so something obviously happened in that moto, but in that first one. Also, Mattis Caro as well. There's a bit of a story there. It's not a great day for the Steve Turner, Will Beaufort, Brett and Kenty Enting.
Just hearing that Jake Nichols picked up a hand injury yesterday. So couldn't hold on. So unfortunate for Jake, because that also then you look at, well, does he go to Germany, yes or no? Is he going to be close to 100%, yes or no? Is it worth going there for, because Teushenthal, another tough track, isn't it? Come on, South, it's the fastest lap of the race. 42.966 on lap 11.
He wants Strybos' position, doesn't he? There's that Nassau at the bottom of the hill. And you can see Philippart's behind and Simpson closing up again. There's Strybos in third place. Nassau just should be at the top of the hill right now.
Yeah, Strybos in third on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Just 5 seconds back is Commander Sal. He's 3 clear of Philippart's. Sean Simpson 3 seconds clear behind David Philippart's as well. As Strybos disappears over the hill. Crowd not going anywhere. Loving every minute of this, every ounce of the track. And Kai Rowley not disappointing. 6.6 seconds clear of Van Hoorbeek with 8 minutes plus 2 laps to go. It's Kai Rowley's race and Grand Prix to lose at this stage. Van Hoorbeek will again be Mr. Consistent with 9 podiums out of 10 if he stays where he is. Young Kai Rowley fans look to try and get a glimpse of their hero, Antonio Kai Rowley. A bit like the rest of the field, really, but it's a measure of the man, isn't it, Adam, when you kind of look at it and go, well, Kai Rowley, when we used to talking about Jeffrey Hurlings, and Hurlings will sort of say, I only won by 30 seconds or 40 seconds, or I was impressive and I won by 50. Kai Rowley never really talks about that, does he? He'll just, a win is a win for him. 25 points is 25 points, and if he steadies the ship at 7 seconds, 6, 7 seconds, that's a good race, just as much as a 25-second win. As Simpson comes over the line, how far is he behind Philippart's? 2 seconds is closing it down. Yeah,
another second chipped off to the back of the Italian. What about that factory Yamaha, Paul? Do you prefer it in the white or the blue?
To be honest, I don't mind. It's obviously, let's explain that. 1997, Andrea Bartolini, who was world champion in '98 for Yamaha, obviously ran, the white 4-stroke, the 400 4-stroke.
First 4-stroke.
The first 4-stroke Yamaha, yeah. And they've obviously just done a retro thing on that this weekend. So Jeremy likes it. The Italian fans and all the Yamaha sponsors here this weekend. It's a big deal for them. But again, in the press conference yesterday, he wasn't really fazed by it. Didn't seem to bring him any more pressure. He's not really thought about it, although he does like the concept. Here's Simpson, though, all over the back of David Philippart's. This is a battle for 5th place.
Oh, Philippart's.
Just...
Scary stuff sometimes, isn't it?
He's hanging it out there. He's leaving nothing out here, is he, this weekend, David Philippart's? And why not? In terms of the overall classification, 5th overall for him. If it stays like this, he'll be tied on points with Sean, so Sean finds a way through. It'll take 2 points off of him or a point off of him. So Philippart's riding good, but Simpson riding even better at this stage.
This is the battle for 5th position on the track, but also 5th position in the overall Grand Prix. Personal best results on the line for both riders. I don't know, Paul, can you call it? Keep an eye on Simpson, because he's been pretty inventive so far today with his lines. I think he's been taking time out of him every lap. It's got to be inevitable, isn't it?
I think it's going to come down to fitness. I think, 2008, 9, 10, that kind of era when Philippart's was really in his prime, fitness, not a problem. I think Sean might just have the measure on him in that respect.
And there's one other factor as well, that in the first race, Sean was stuck behind Philip Arts for about 20 minutes. After the first one, he said, he was, he was frustrated by the fact
mistake there.
That was where he passed him on the last lap.
Yeah.
So can Simpson do again? He's trying at the top of the hill.
Going to cut out early, going to drop it round the outside at the bottom of the hill, or maybe even square off like we saw DeSalle try over the ruts, but carries the momentum around the outside. Just working it outsides to insides, trying to stay out the ruts there. Another innovative line there. Didn't go too deep into the rut.
Simpson's also got to be a bit careful moving up to 6th in the World Championship pool. He doesn't really want to drop it and, lose, because Sean's like Cairoli, another guy who thinks a lot about the big picture, making all 17 Grand Prix, making them all, bank in terms of getting the points and rising up the standings. Here, Philip Arts seems to have a little bit more,
Yeah. Well, Philip Arts, as was said, 9th, 7th in second moto in Spain, his best race result of the season. Simpson has had a 6th, which is where he's at the moment. That was the second race in Spain, in Italy, and also in England. And here he is going for, season's best 5th here in this second race. Got to find a way to close down David Philip Arts, who looks to have responded here.
Yeah, this is a good lap, isn't it, from Philip Arts. He was also riding a special livery on that bike. Home Grand Prix, so why not? Italy, of course, winning their first game in the FIFA World Cup last night, so it was a bit of a...
Did you stay up and watch that?
I watched the first half.
I watched the first half.
And then it was just too late,
I watched the second goal, actually. I watched the first 10 minutes of the... but anyway, we can talk all about that. I thought they played well, though, bless him. Simpson going after him. This is Cairoli. He'll be on what? Win 69 now, won't he? Cairoli, 50 points for him. Van Hoorbeek on 44. Strybos would be on the podium 3rd. DeSalle would be 4th, and another mistake there from Philip Arts. Surely Simpson gets alongside him at the top of the hill.
Enough room.
Oh, what were we saying about being older and wiser? Certainly not wiser. He doesn't want to give it up. I tell you, Philip Arts is working hard.
God, he's going to... Oh, Simpson not finding any room on the inside there either, but that's where it's going to happen. Well, next lap, you watch Simpson, he's got some good momentum going through the S section there, the turns 3 and 4 on this track.
2 laps running, though. 2 laps running. Philip Arts has made mistakes there.
But, for the rest of the lap, Philip Arts has pretty much got it covered, but it's that section where he's weak, and it's that section where Sean done him in the first moto.
Yeah, but he had a perfect opportunity there. If he watched it back again, Sean will go, right, I ran alongside him, jumped long, pull the brakes, he'll fly right by, dip back to the inside and don't give Philip Arts the opportunity to take you high and wide, which is what happened. But in the heat of the moment, sometimes you don't think clearly like that, especially with a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah, we're going to get, 3 laps to go? They're going to be over the line.
If we saw a replay of that, for instance, you'd sit there and go, right, this is how it happened. And if he braked at this point now, Philip Arts goes straight on and, you cut it back. But
that line's not working for him at the bottom of the hill. He's just not getting the drive up.
No.
That's the second time he's just,
But he knows Sean's quicker than him there, and if he goes outside and tries something different, his mind at this stage of the race, Philip Arts, is thinking, I'm leaving the door open, and Simpson's going to come up the inside of me, you know? But Simpson's got it all to do again now on that Hitachi KTM.
This is the real focal point of this moto. Cairoli 9 seconds ahead of Van Hoorbeek now. Kevin Strybos pretty much clear in 3rd from Clement DeSalle, his teammate on that Rockstar Suzuki, but this is the battle for 5th place. Also for the same ranking in the overall Grand Prix. And Sean's not close enough this time.
No.
And Philip Arts has worked it out, kept the same line, didn't come to the inside this time on that heavy rut.
Going tighter this time, top of the hill, Sean Simpson taking the shortest route around.
He likes that outside line there, Sean. It's not setting up anything for him, though.
I've got to take my hat off to Philip Arts.
Yeah.
Really, he is riding an impressive race here.
Good stuff from David. You could argue it's probably maybe his best race since the Mexican Grand Prix. I think that was his last podium, 2012.
Yeah, he's just...
I think he won the race. That was a fantastic race. 4 riders going for victory that day.
Yeah.
Guadalajara.
Same year he won his last Grand Prix, wasn't it? 2012.
It's Cairoli, the race leader, somewhat standing out in that gear, isn't he?
3 laps to go. Cairoli. Not leaving anything to chance. Where's Van Hoorbeek coming down past pit lane now, so that gap. Ooh, Strybos is closing in. Strybos is closing in on Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Look at that. Whoa, 2.5 seconds.
Kawasaki in the background as well. Cairoli's passed, but I mean, even if Strybos passes Van Horbik, it's not going to be great for his championship points, but it's not going to affect the overall podium, is it? Van Horbik's still got second locked up.
I've just got a sneaky look out of my window there as Simpson and Philipp Arts over the line. Philipp Arts, look at that, less than a second in it.
Yeah, it couldn't be any closer. There's Van Horbik coming down the hill. There's Strybos. This is the battle for second. 2 laps to go. What's happening in fifth, though? We're keeping a good watch on that.
Yeah, Guarneri, likewise, good ride in 7th, Dadaika 8th, Aranda 9th. Good ride on the Stern Racing Kawasaki. Gonçalves 10th, Tommy Searle now 11th. Ulrich 12th, Leok 13th. And the rest.
What's the overall looking like there, Paul? You got the time on the screen. Van Horbik second by 6 points from Strybos. It's not going to make any difference if Kevin can make a move. Clement de Sauer clear fourth. Philipp Arts and Simpson, that's the main kind of dice still to be decided. 2 laps to go.
Either way, this is for 5th overall, isn't it, for Philipp Arts and Simpson, and both those guys looking at season's best this year. Philipp Arts' best was a 7th in Spain, and Simpson has had 3 7th place finishes. Trentino, England, and France. Van Horbik, Mr. Consistent, what can we say about him?
9 in a row. It's, I wonder if even Cairoli's managed that over the last year or 2.
I'm sure he
had a blip in 2012 in Sweden.
Yeah, he did.
Strybos, Van Horbik's just set his personal best lap of the race, so he's had a look over his shoulder and seen the Suzuki there. Yeah, I can't see that happening.
Not now, I wouldn't think. 2 laps to go. Little mistakes like that, though, creep in. Another half, 3/4 of a second here, because you lose that drive going up the hill. But Strybos will keep pushing on that Rockstar Energy Suzuki, definitely. You know, how far is his teammate? 8 seconds behind him, so...
Yeah. De Sau's eased off, hasn't he? De Sau's comfortably clear of Philipp Arts in 5th. Could be Simpson as well. And Strybos, he's had 2 lonely races today, hasn't he? 4th, I think, in the first moto, pretty much by himself. 3rd, but it's, you know, it's a podium comeback. He had 2 in a row, then had 2 GPs where, you know, he wasn't the best. Yeah. And now he's back on the champagne.
Yeah, good day for Strybos.
We've been talking so much about his teammate in the last few GPs.
It's almost overshadowed, isn't he?
Yeah.
And, you know, rightly so in some respect, because obviously he's the #1 guy, but every now and again he'll have a blip, as we've seen today, and this plays into the hands of his teammate Strybos. Sean Simpson will move to 6th in the championship, just 6 points behind Stephen Frossard. That'll be a couple less, you know, if he was to find a way past Philipp Arts. Cairoli crosses the line, 1 lap to go. Never won a race here, of course. You know, victories went to Paulin and to Sal last year. So to win here in the first moto was a big thing for Tony Cairoli. To go and do the double and win the Italian, you know, the MXGP of Italy.
In the background there, Paul Strybos just ghosted past somebody on a red bike. I thought it might have been Van Horbik, but you know, the Yamaha's still slightly ahead. It could be quite a close finish.
The noise around this place is intense.
The bottom of the screen there, Simpson.
Look at that reception, sorry.
Simpson and Philipp Arts, less than a second in it.
Yeah. Van Horbik still there, going up in the opposite loop to where Cairoli is now, styling it for the crowd. Nice.
I mean, this is really, it's got to be the highlight of Tony Cairoli's season so far. I mean, he's won his home Grand Prix before.
And it'll be win 69 for him, but it'll, you know, it's probably going to be up there on his one of his all-time win lists as well, you know, because everyone will want to win somewhere at some point, and for him, you know, I'm guessing we will come back here. I'm guessing there'll be a Nations here in 2016, and you know, but it might be the only opportunity for him to go and win here, you know.
We've got Belgians in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, but Philipp Arts, the other Italian, still in 5th. Paul, I want to see on the last lap what is going on there. Less than a second between Philipp Arts and Simpson. That's the real battle.
Celebrating in front of the crowd now, Cairoli. The podium's going to be massive. Jill looking very nervous. I think that's how much it means to them as well, you know, but Cairoli rounds out the final turn.
That's it.
He wins here in Maggiora, not just one race, but two. A perfect day in Italy for Tony Cairoli. And they're in tears there, because for Cairoli, that's his first Grand Prix victory overall since Matterley Basin. Of course, that was an emotional one. But look at the reception here. That's what it means to those guys. Van Hoorbeek over the line second, Strybos third. And has Simpson found a way through? No, Philip Arts holds on for fifth place, and Simpson is going to take sixth. What a reception. Cairoli, the hero here in Italy. And it is a wall of noise, Adam Wheeler. Thank you for your time in here. See you a little bit later on in the press conference. And, well, we're going to enjoy this one. Cairoli's going to enjoy it as well. Big day for him. And Philip Arts as well is in amongst the crowd. Happy day for him. Here's
Tony Cairoli, many congratulations for winning your home Grand Prix here in Majora. You look so happy.
Yeah, I'm so happy, you know. I struggled a lot last year on this track, and this year seems to fit better on my, and also with all the public, it's amazing, and they push me all the time, so I dedicate this victory to my father. I hope he will like it for sure, and see you next time.
Thanks, Tony, well done.
Big day, big win for Antonio Cairoli. Win number 69 on the Red Bull KTM. Came over the line to an insane wall of noise. You know he's enjoyed every minute of it, and the party is just about to start here in Italy, because there was a lot of pressure on his shoulders this weekend. He came, he saw, he conquered. He didn't let them down here in Italy. An impressive podium here at Maggiora, round 10 of the MXGP Motocross World Championship. Antonio Cairoli has just won his home Grand Prix at the iconic circuit of Maggiora. Tens of thousands of fans here flock to the skybox and to the podium, and it will be the biggest, the loudest reception. Here's your overall Grand Prix confirmed. Tony Cairoli, Van Hoorbeek and Strybos on the podium again, edging out his teammate De Sal. 3 Belgians, second, third and fourth. Philip Arts, fifth overall for him. He got just as much a reception from the fans as he came over the line. He pulled onto the start straight, threw the bike down. Everybody just ascended on him, and he was absolutely just engulfed in emotion. Was David Philip Arts. And he ought to be on the podium as well, because he put in an impressive display today to edge out Sean Simpson, who he battled with in that second moto right the way to the end. Simpson just missing out, coming home in 6th in the race and 6th overall in the GP. But third overall, Kevin Strybos on the Suzuki. Another visit to the podium for him, and also Van Hoorbeek. How consistent can he be? I mean, I'm hearing everything from my headset here, but down there, if you're amongst that crowd now, I'm looking out of my window, I can see the flares being lit at the top of the hill. As we look at the championship standings, of course, Sean Simpson now up into 6th. Just a handful of points behind Stephen Frossard, but a good day for Sean Simpson. He would have loved to have pulled a couple more points back by passing Philip Arts, but Philip Arts just responded and did enough to stay out there. I think Philip Arts is still in there somewhere, him and his bike. We're getting ready for the podium, and it's going to be very, very noisy down there. Nazzareno, Cairoli's mechanic, just making 1 or 2 last-minute adjustments. Make sure the bike looks good for the photos. Third overall this weekend, though, MXGP of Italy, round 10. Kevin Strybos, Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MXGP. And for the Belgian, he adds podiums to the ones that he picked up in Trentino, where he was third, the Netherlands, where he was third, Spain, where he was third, and now here in Italy. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, 9 out of 10 podiums for the Yamaha factory rider. Who's your winner? Antonio Cairoli, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Listen to the reception. Wow, staggering. And Claudio De Carli there, the team manager, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing MXGP, has been with him every step of the way. Third place trophy to Kevin Strybos, Giuseppe Fasola, the mayor of Maggiora, delivering the mini-map of Maggiora. Van Hoorbeek will take his second place trophy from Stefano Avandero, Chava, organiser of this MXGP of Italy. Antonio Cairoli, though, listen to this reception again as he picks his first place trophy from Paolo Schneider, fellow organiser of MXGP of Italy, along with Stefano Avandero. So the Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, Tony Cairoli wins now for the 69th time. Good work, fellas, as well. Paolo Schneider, Stefano Avandero, all your team behind, as Dr. Wolfgang Schrepp, FIM CMS Director, hands Cairoli another championship red plate, because he's now 38 points clear of Clément de Sales. He's added 18 to what was a 20-point advantage coming in here to his championship as we move to Germany in a week's time. National anthem for Tony Cairoli and the fans for Italy. Impressive. If you haven't won, you just want to share the podium with Cairoli today. What an atmosphere. KTM will win the manufacturers today, by the way. Here's the national anthem for Austria. Round 10 of MXGP, the MXGP of Italy, concludes with Antonio Cairoli, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, standing on the top step of the podium at his home Grand Prix, doing it in perfect style as well. And the two Belgians, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Yamaha Factory Racing in red, and Kevin Strybos, Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MXGP to the right. Second and third this weekend, acknowledging the display of Cairoli as both douse the 7-time world champ in Champagne on the top step of the podium. An emotional day for Cairoli. Pair of goggles going for somebody. You can't even buy them Neox goggles. Tony Cairoli, own brand. Sending the crowd flying. We will grab a word with Cairoli as soon as we can, but let's do best moments first. But the party started even before we turned a wheel in moto number 2. After Cairoli's victory in moto number 1. People were well on the way to having a good time. Gate dropped MXGP race 2. Kai Rowley pulled another foxhole shot. Strybos parked his Suzuki down the inside of Frossard, who a few laps later pulled out of the race. Still waiting on an explanation for that. But Kai Rowley romped home to victory, 2 out of 2. He wins round 10. He wins in Italy. He wins at Majora. Well, at the start of it all, Tony Kai Rowley did win the foxhole shot. Matteo Brazil of Foxhead Europe, general manager there, handing him another black plate. Kai Rowley now on 9 hole shots on his Red Bull KTM factory machine. Well, these guys here clearly come to support, on the most part, Tony Kai Rowley. But David Philipparts, David Guarneri also played their part. Here's Amy Dargan with Strybos, Van Hoorbeek, and our overall winner, Tony Kai Rowley.
Tony Kai Rowley, many congratulations. That was quite some reception waiting for you out there on the podium. How did it feel?
It's amazing, you know. This year we have the motocross on a good channels in Italy, and you can see it from the public. They are a lot more, and our sport is get more interested and more interest from also people who didn't know before. So that's great for our sport, and it's from chicken skin, you know, from everything I see on the podium, all these Italian flags. It's just amazing. Thanks to everybody that comes here, and I hope they will follow us also on the other GPs, and always so happy for this race.
Many congratulations, a great job done here, and we'll see you next time in Germany. Second overall this weekend, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, your 9th visit to the podium in a row, but also going home extra happy this weekend because you got that pole position in qualifying. You now know you can win a race.
Yeah, you know, I felt really good all weekend long, and today I tried, but I think it's really difficult to beat Tony in his home, you know, in Italy. First moto, a small mistake, and I spent a lot of energy to come back, and second moto I tried, but it didn't happen. But again, second, and would like to say a big cheer up for Joel Roelands, because I feel really bad about this, and it's a shame for our sport, but I hope he will heal up soon and get well, buddy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Absolutely all our thoughts are with Joel this weekend. But third overall this weekend, Kevin Strybos. After a 2-round hiatus, it's great to see you back up here in the winner's circle. Well done.
Thanks. Yeah, it was good. You know, first moto got a bad start, and then I got fourth, so which was quite okay. Had some arm pumps, so I wasn't too happy about that. And then second moto got a better start a little bit, and I pushed hard. You know, yeah, happy to get another podium, and yeah, next time try to get on the top step.
See you next weekend in Germany. Thank you.
Impressive performances all round. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, second overall. 9 podiums consecutively in 2014. Kevin Strybos on the podium once again on his Rockstar Energy Suzuki, but Antonio Kai Rowley with a double moto victory here in Maggiora set the place alight. Fans are not going home disappointed, and he goes home having extended his lead from what was 20 before we arrived here in Italy to what is now 38 points over Clément de Sales, who was just unlucky in the first race and couldn't quite match his early speed from race 1 in moto number 2. David Philipparts was also impressive this weekend, so too Davide Guarneri, but everybody will remember Majora 2014 for the performance from Tony Kai Rowley and his Red Bull KTM factory racing machine. A double race winner here at home in Italy. Well, that's all we've got time for here. It's been emotional. We'll be back 1 week from now when we go to Teufelstal for the MXGP of Germany. My name's Paul Malin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in 1 week's time. Bye for now.